So when you were in Chikara, and by the way, there's a little habit of mine. I keep trying to break it, but I bring it up every video anyway. My transitions are always so. but but when you worked there, One Eye Jack and the Red Queen were your names, right? Could you talk about what the gimmick really was?
So we didn't get to really like dive into them. They were loosely based on playing cards, to be honest. But when we were doing all of this work, um, we were filming studio tapings with no audience before anyone was doing this because we were still trying to send this product to WWE. And we were really like the first group of people. It was called Action Arcade at the time. And it was really interesting because, getting into a new character without an audience, without a story, different wrestlers were either sick or didn't want to participate, those sort of things. Like we couldn't get into what the characters were going to be and what their feud was, what their obstacles to overcome, or any of that stuff. But they were honestly based on playing cards. So that's really all I can give you.
That's so cool, though. For someone who might not be familiar with Chikara is very over the top characters and very over the top storylines. So it fits in with the theme of the company. And you
Yeah.
really wonder what could have been with, those shows had they been on the internet, because they have to exist somewhere. And obviously things with Chikara and WWE didn't end up working out, pandemic, everything else, but it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
I do want to see some of those. I know we had like two. They were more like enhancement style matches. But we carried it over into Pretty Proper, our finisher that we came up with then. And that was just like hours of messing around with a crash pad. He's strong and I'm flippy, and we're like, let's make this work. But yeah, it was definitely fun. Like I know he didn't want to wear a mask, and then it was after you get into characters that aren't you. Not that I'm Lady Frost, right? Like I'm not Lady Frost. But you're very much connected to who you become and what you do. So removing all of that and playing just a character, it was almost easier because you didn't have any emotional attachment, right? It was brand new, and it was just like I'm acting, like I'm straight out acting at this point. And like he loved it, I loved it. I thought it was it was a very different feel because, like I said, we weren't really like emotionally invested at the time into that. Like I'm sure we could have been. We did, start to love it, and I think the dynamic between the two of us was really cool, and the characters. So it was gonna translate. It did translate, I think, but we didn't have enough time to be like really, really upset that those characters don't exist anymore. I mean, they're in the closet. They do exist, but
No, I can understand the detachment there because you are doing something different. And I think that's another kind of cool thing that Chikara had. And in general, like if you start off with a mask and you're not going out and it's a little different because you didn't have a mask, but with a different character, you're not you. So you
yeah.
have more room to experiment too, I would feel like.
Yes, exactly.